Suffice it to say, I mean, the challenge is all about playing alongside legends of old. I mean, you two have certainly been around the blocks with playing alongside your Johnny Bananas and CTs, but even from like glimpsing episode 0, from our perspective, things felt different. Really bringing out all these people that we haven't seen in years, sometimes huge names to play under one roof. I'll start with you, Devin. Tell me about what that feeling was like to get to play alongside some of those people that have been talked about but haven't been seen in ages.
Yeah, there's a few that come to mind. I mean, Emily Schramm and Rachel's names both ring bells. Fortunately, I've been able to do this now for almost a decade myself. So I've gotten to play with, kind of all the legends aside of those two and Mark Long. I think I've played with pretty much everybody else that I really perceive to be a huge threat. But just knowing that those two are here does definitely raise the bar. And you want to perform your best in front of the game's best. And this season has the game's best.
Yeah, what was your reaction, Kaycee, to getting to appear alongside the game's best, to Devin's point?
I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of goats that I've never played with. Yeah, like Rachel. I mean, Emily, Cara. I've never played a game with a lot of these people. I mean, there's Brad, there's Derek, and Mark Long. And, I don't know too much of the history on these relationships, but it's so cool to be able to play this game with the best of the best and be included. Season 40 legends in one house. It's a lot of people, but it's really cool to be alongside these goats and these legends that literally paved the way. 40
Yeah,
seasons.
I mean, from the reverse of their dynamic, what was their reaction to the two of you? Because I'm sure there are some that had been keeping up and sort of having your opinions. What was it like for them to interact with you now in person instead of watching you on screen?
Well, from my perspective, it was very interesting because I'm coming off Ride or Dies, where obviously we get the win, but also, in Kaycee's championship season in Spies, Lies, and Allies, both of us have great success. We're both in the final. So coming into the game, I felt like a lot of people wanted to bend my ear, get on my good side. And as soon as the Era's theme was revealed, all those conversations got crumpled up and thrown in the trash can. And all of a sudden, I was not, the apple of their eye, so to speak, and instead was perceived as a legitimate threat. So it was interesting, to see those tides turn so quickly.
Yeah, what about you,
Yeah.
Kaycee?
I feel like with the, era one, era two, they've been doing this for a long time. They did their homework, right? They did their homework and they know how I play. They know how Devin plays. They may not know to the very T, but when they come in this game, they have an idea. So, and coming into that, I know that, right? They have the experience. They know what they're doing. But I honestly think that the OGs are also trying to figure out, because we do play a different game, right? I'm coming from Big Brother. We have Era 4, we have Survivor, Big Brother, Love Island. And so it is a different game from what it used to be 40 seasons ago. So, at the same time that we're watching them and, being a student and watching them, they're doing the same thing and on their end. So it's really exciting. This is the most, 39 other people in this game and, different characters, different backgrounds, different strategies. I'm here for it. And I'm excited to play with them.
Yeah, I'd be intrigued to hear from each of you. What was your reaction to the Eras theme, especially as you're looking around? Kaycee, yeah, we'll start with you because there has been such a big distinction of like, this is the Survivor Big Brother International era. How did it feel to find out, like, all right, these are the people that you have been your, for lack of a better term, ride or die since you've been on the show, and now they're going to be your team?
Oh, I'm excited. This is the exact team that I want to be on, right? I got like-minded, like Survivor, Big Brother, very similar. I mean, so I'm here for it. I'm a team player and I'll ride for my team, right? Era 4 all day. And so when I'm surrounded around like-minded people that also like to game and strategize, that's everything. Because I can't even imagine myself, right, as a newcomer being in Era 1, right? It's just kind of like they just have a different mindset, different strategy, and it's really fun and more entertaining for me to be able to play this game with like-minded people. So I'm all about Era 4. I'm happy with this team that we have, and it's so funny how every era really does ride hard for their era. So I love it. I love it
Yeah, what about
so
you,
much.
Devin? What was your first reaction to finding out about the Eras?
Completely bummed. Didn't love it. Yeah, it wasn't really how I would have liked to kind of set this up for myself. And I say that because I have legitimate relationships with members of every era, and I've always played this game with the people that I like. And unfortunately, we really weren't able to do that because of the breakdown on the format. So I want to play with Josh. I want to play with Kaycee. I want to play with Anissa. I want to play with CT. I want to play, with all of these people that are on different eras. And it became very difficult to do that without looking shady to your era. And that was a balance that I struggled with in this game. And, I think I did pretty well, all things considered. But yeah, obviously, if I could go back and rewrite the format, I'm not great in a team of 10. Not really where I thrive. So
Yeah.
didn't love it.
Well, yeah, Devin brings up an interesting point. I mean, look, it's been coined the Vacation Alliance. We all know about it, right? And what's so interesting is that you all had kind of been separated, right? You got Anissa over here. Devin, you're with Tori, but Kaycee, you're with Josh. So talk to me a bit more about that, Kaycee. Did you find that you two had to kind of change up your gameplay once you realized there was less of a chance that the group of you could kind of join together and work together like you usually do?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's definitely difficult. I mean, when you have your main alliance that you trust on in different eras, it makes it very difficult, right? Because you're one, two of your 10 in your era that's not maybe gonna be all on the same page and have the same relationships that you do. So it really does make it difficult. And again, it's just like that's the name of the game of being able to adapt and like work with what you do have. But it was definitely hard to be able to,
And no,
you know,
no spoilers, but Era 4 had moles.
we had moles.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I was gonna say maybe too much time out in the sun, but you're quite literally moles.
Moles. Got it.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, I mean, to that point, yes, there's some drama involved there, but definitely got this like a choice quote from Tony during episode 0, right? Of just like from a drama perspective, I mean, there is probably a good amount of bad blood baked into Era 3. Was that something that you perceived initially as well when you found out that would be your group?
Yeah, well, anytime Tori and Amanda are in the same bedroom, you're not stoked. So that having to wage that war was not something that I had, really looked forward to. And then obviously you've got Tony and Corey and their storied history. Then you've got Jordan and Tori and their storied history. You've got, myself in there just like kind of as somebody who generally takes a little warming up to. I've never met Naya before. I've only played with Avery one time. I'd never met John A before. So it was a difficult era for us because we had a lot of people who played the game completely different ways, as opposed to an era like Era 4 that have very similar gameplay styles because they are coming from similar games. We have completely different gameplay styles. We've got Tony, who's just a bull in a china shop, and then we've got John A, who kind of like moves around very quietly and is strategizing on the low. We've got people that play up front. So to be fair, it was kind of a nightmare.
So let's talk about relationships a little bit from a romantic variety. Kaycee, very belated congratulations on the engagement. What was it like getting to appear on the show for the first time since then, and especially, representing both yourself and Nani?
Yeah, so it was interesting. I started playing this game with Nani, and this was the second time that I've played this without her, and it's different. She is my right hand. She's my fiance, and so I know that not having her on this season, it was different. But I know she was cheering me on from home, so I definitely had to represent for both of us. And it's hard being away from her, right? So it's playing this game and not having her has been difficult, but yeah, it's been amazing. So
well, we move from feelings outside of the house to maybe feelings inside the house again. Devin, listen, articles have been leaked, photos have been posted. We even got a little bit of a tease of it in episode 0. So what are you anticipating? Because you said you've been doing this from a decade, but I can't remember outside of a show like Are You the One, for example, like a season where perhaps a storyline is going to be how you end up getting involved in a relationship with Michelle.
Yeah, so I decided coming into 40 that I was going to make it as difficult as humanly possible on myself to come out as a victor. I really wanted to leave no stone unturned. And everybody knows a really good way to decrease your position in the game is to get in a showman. So I figured, you know what? I said it at the reunion. I'm single. I will be banging. And it got me a girlfriend who I absolutely adore. So yeah, I would say, no one knows who won, but I definitely won the heart of one Michelle Fitzgerald.
And isn't that a win overall at the end of the day?
I would say so.
I want to say something. I absolutely love seeing that side of Devin. Devin and Michelle, it was such a beautiful thing to see. And see that side of Devin was the cutest. So definitely stand 1,000%. And it was really freaking cool to see that side. So heck yeah. I had
Thanks,
to say that. I
Kaycee.
had to say that. It's mom and dad right there.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention, again, speaking of some like online scuttlebutt, Jordan has certainly made his opinions public about, the way that you all were sort of regarded by production over the course of this season. I would just love to hear from either one of you or both of you, your sort of reaction to that, your own perspective on how things ran sort of behind the scenes compared to your other seasons.
I feel that every season, the challenge is hard mentally, emotionally, physically. It has all aspects, right? So I feel like the weather out there was really, really hot. So people are going to be irritable. And I feel, honestly, every season there's always some kind of, whether it's the climate or whatever it may be. But I mean, overall, it was you're on the challenge, right? It was what we signed up for. We signed up to be away from our family. We signed up to kind of just like to give up our freedom and play a game, and very intense game. So emotions are high, and name of the game, it's fun intense game.
Devin, anything you wanted to add to that?
No, thank you.
All right. Well, last thing I want to ask is maybe something that'll have you open up a bit more. Because listen, 40 cast members, really, really strong cast, in my opinion. There's always going to be people that you wish were there. So to finish off, who are some faces that you wished would be, alongside you or against you? I have a feeling I know at least one of the answers to Kaycee, so let's start with Devin.
I mean, hashtag dial, right? Where is my guy? Where is Kyle, right? My better half. I don't have him. I don't have Wes. I am kind of a man on an island here from male perspective. I do have good relationships, with Tony, with CT, with Darrell. Me and Jordan, Corey, all those guys are good friends of mine. Even Johnny, but I don't really have like a true number one. So I would have loved to see Kyle or Wes walk through those giant castle doors, and it just didn't happen for me.
Kaycee, what about you?
For me, of course, my fiance Nani. She is a goat in this game, and I love playing this game with her. Unfortunately, she didn't want to go on the season. So, and if she was on the season, she would have been on Era 3, which would have been really, really cool. And also too, just like another one, I would have to say, it's different not playing this game or playing this game without Fessy, right? So I always have my guys, Fessy and Josh. And but yeah, so I would say Nani and Fessy, those are the two that come to mind for sure.